everyone. In my last vlog I asked in April I asked you, my subscribers, to let me know what you would like to see me video about. And Susan Jones, I think it was, yes, asked for cards and hints and tips for beginners. So what I thought was I'm going to take it right the way back to the beginning and talk a little bit about the tools that you need. And the most important thing about card making is matting and layering. And I'm going to talk a little bit about that as well, and hints and tips for you, and I'm going to make a card as well. So I'm going to turn you to overhead and we'll make a start. So we're going to talk a little bit about tools. Okay, so the first thing I would suggest that you would need is a really good craft mat. You can get self-healing mats, which in the beginning I did actually have self-healing mats, but then I kind of fell out of love with them and I purchased my glass mats. And I must admit, with being mixed media artist as well, I do like my glass mat too. I have the large A3 one, as you can see here, and I also have a square one. I've got quite a few. I have a square one, and I also have an A4 one. So you can get various sizes. I also like to use a guillotine. I have this large one, which is an Express, an X-Cut Precision guillotine, which has extenders, so for cutting my 12 by 12s or my A3 papers, and they just slot back in. And I also have a smaller tonic, and this is one, as you can see, it's well loved. It's quite grotty, so this is a well loved my guillotine. It all depends on your preference. You could get a trimmer. I also, in the very beginning, before I bought guillotines or a trimmer, I used to use rulers. And I have an inch ruler, which is a Tim Holtz and Perspex, but it also has a metal edge, which helps as a guide for your knife, your craft knife. Using one of these is no good, to be honest, because using your knife, you'll just cut into it and destroy this. If these are good for measuring and that, but for when you're cutting, they're just not very good. Craft knife, yes, I've had this a long time. It's really good ergonomically. It's kind of like a triangle, so it's really nice, nice to hold and to use when you're cutting your card and paper. I just changed the blades. As you can see, it's quite grotty and well loved. Scissors, again, different sizes. I've got quite a few Fiskars scissors, different sizes, the large one, and I mean, you see me using these in my videos quite a lot. And these pair of scissors I've been crafting about 20 odd years now, and this was the first pair of craft scissors I bought, so they are 20 years or over 20 years old, and they're still going strong. And to clean your scissors of sticky, I use acetone nail varnish remover. And after using, when I'm cutting sticky buds, as you call them, we in England call them, oh god, what do we call them now? Can't think now. foam pads. If you just wipe them with a baby wipe, that will help clear them, or give you, before you cut your foam pads, just wipe your blades with the foam pads and it'll hopefully keep, well it does, it keeps them quite clear. My scissors need cleaning actually, and I try and give them a good clean at least once a month, and they're due cleaning. I also have the nice scissors from Tim Holtz, which are made by Tonic Studios, and these are nice because they've got a nice serrated edge. So there's scissors. I'll move on to adhesives now. No, I won't. I also like to use a pokey tool, and I use my pokey tool usually for adding my gems, or lifting my double-sided tape. And I've got a pair of tweezers. Again, these have been with me since the beginning, and they're pointed, and I use these to remove my double-sided tape, to lift the tape. And you might want to invest in a pair of jewellery pliers to cut the stems on your flowers, instead of using your scissors, as I was told off by one of my subscribers, which I never really thought about. But so that's just a bit about the tools. Now I'm going to move on to adhesives. Now there are many different types of adhesives, and if you know me and have watched me a while, you know that I'm not, when I'm making cards, I'm not a fan of liquid adhesives for my cards. I'm just not. I don't like them. For various reasons. I've been card making a long time. In certain circumstances, yes, they work brilliantly. So you've got Collal, which you can get from Crafter's Companion. This is High Tack glue. Sorry about that, that's my phone. High Tack All Purpose, which I do use if I'm sticking embellishments. I do use it for embellishments, but not for matting and layering. And this is from a company called Stamps by Me, which I will admit I do. Once I put my double-sided tape on, and I've done a watercolour card, and I've put double-sided tape and the card's just a little bit warped, I will add some of this on, because it just helps the card to settle and stick better to the card. So I will use this. For sticking down embellishments, I use Pin Flare, which is a silicone glue, and it's based here in the UK. And the best thing about this, it's fabulous, and it doesn't smell. Some silicone glues absolutely stink. Double-sided tape I love. I go through reels and reels and reels of double-sided tape. You can get them from a number of different places. Hobby Lobby, Michael's, here in the UK, The Range, Hunky Dory, Hobbycraft, and also Red Tape as well. Red Tape is extra strong, and you will see that I use this quite a lot when I'm adding lace, because this just grips the lace really well. I also use an assortment of foam pads as well. So that is really what I use predominantly in making cards. And as I said before, then you come on to card base itself, and I would recommend 300 GSM card base. Personally, it's which is £140 American. I know American use different ways of measuring, weighing their card. We call it GSM here in the UK. The Americans, they have it in pounds. So for America, it's £140. Here in the UK, we call it GSM. So I recommend no less than 250, between 250 300 pound GSM. So I would say 120 to 140 pounds American. And when I'm matting and layering, I always always, and this is a really good tip, bone folders, really invaluable, very invaluable. A good foam folder will last you throughout your crafting. So when I'm matting and layering, what I do is fold my card in half, obviously, and I like to buy my card. I don't make my card bases. Sometimes I do if I'm doing different styles. If I'm making, say, a stepper card, I've got a template here for a stepper card. If I'm making my own, then I will kind of, you know, go from a template. Or, but if I'm making square base cards, or different, you know, you can make A5, A2s, A6s, etc, etc, then I do buy my card bases, which you can buy here in the UK. I get them mainly from where do I get them? The Range or Hobbycraft. I get my card bases. So when I'm matting and layering, I measure my card, and this is a really good tip to do. So I work in centimeters, so I'm going to, what I do is I measure, so that is 14.8, and I do write on the base of the card. So that's 14.8 by 14.7. So it's not actually a square, but it is, because on any good card you will always have a lip, and this leads you in to opening the card. So this by right should always be wider than the length by not a centimetre, by a millimetre, because I'm working in centimetres and millimetres. So this will always, the front will always be a millimetre longer than the back, because then it leads you into opening the card, if you understand what I'm saying. So that's that. So then I go down in decrease by 4 millimetres. So the next layer will be 14.4 by 14.3, and then again so that'll be 14 by 13.9. So this is just for the sake of this card. If you get starting out, there are plenty of online places that you can download papers and toppers or ephemera, and these I've downloaded off my website, Linda Simpson Designs, and this is the Lebo Oiseau papers and ephemera, which is all about birds. So I just want to show you the matting and layering. So then what I do is I pick this pink, which is feathers, and then the music papers, and then the bird. So then what I want to do is, okay, so I'm going to put that behind that. So this is going to be the first layer, so I know that the first layer has got to measure 14 by 14.3. So because this is going to be this, I just put a little arrow, and I know that this is going to be this width. And I just double check, and I just mark it with my pencil, and this is 14.3. And then I do the same with this. I do a little arrow, making sure the paper's the right way up, and I'll do the same with this, and this is going to be 14 by 13.9. And of all the things in card making, mat and layering is the most important. I'll bring my guillotine in, and just line it up and cut it. And there's a little bit of a white edge on there, so I'm just going to put that on there and just get rid of that. I'll just pop that to one side for now. I'm not doing anything fancy, I'm just going to, so as you can see, that fits on top of there perfectly. So now what I need to do is put double-sided tape on there. And I go all the way around, all four sides. If you watch television, the craft channels, and you see presenters putting kind of 3 strips on, and the way they do it like that because they have to be quick with their demonstrations. When they're doing their cards at home, they do exactly what I do, because if they didn't, their layers, etc., would fall off. So for quickness, they just do the strips, 3 down the middle or whatever. But I always do 4 sides, because at the end of the day, if you're giving your card to somebody as a you know, for their birthday, and it's sat on the mantelpiece, you do not want the layers falling off the card, do you? So I need a piece of pink card to go with that, so just bear with me while I find a piece of pink card. Piece of pink card. Look at that. How's that for matching? I couldn't have picked a better match, could I? I don't know how I've done that. Wow. And as you can see, I've already cut a circle out of that, but I've kept it. I've kept it in my filing cabinet. So what I'm going to do, just pop that out the way, and I'm just going to pop this on here, line it up, and I'm just going to make a pencil mark either side. I'm going to bring my rule in and I'm going to mark 4mm away from my marking, and I know that then will be enough to give it a nice mat to sit on. If I've done it right, and I have. There we go. So I've got a nice mat for my topper ephemera. Also, if you know me, you know I don't like white edges, so I use my distress markers. You can use your Sharpies, you could use your distress inks, and I just quickly, always have the pattern facing away from you, so there's no likelihood of you marking the pattern, and just go quickly around. So I've just gone quickly around just to hide the white. There we go. And then I've come in with the brown, which I think is Vintage Photo. Yep. And I'm just going to go around this one again, making sure it's facing away from me. I think this pen's on its way out. Not quite as juicy as the other one, but it'll do for this. So all I need to do is put tape on this, and again, even though it's only small, I will still put it round all four sides. And this is just a quick, simple card just to show matting and layering, which is very, very important. If you can master your matting and layering, you can make any style of card that you wish. Some people do prefer to use wet glues, and yes, they are good, but for me, I just don't like them, and I think it's each to their own. So if you prefer to use your wet glue, then go ahead and use it. So as I say, I use my scissors, my tweezers, or you could use a pokey tool. You can use your pokey tool, but I prefer my tweezers. Excuse me. I've got a real tickle in my throat this morning. I think I need to go and have a cup of tea. I'm a tea addict. I like my tea. And what I do, okay, so I've got 4 sides, okay? So then what I do, I hold it, and then I hover until I'm happy where I'm going to place it, and then I drop it. Drop it onto the base of the card, and I do exactly the same with this. Do exactly the same, curling them up. When I'm happy, I will drop it down in place. There we go. Now, as this is just a little one, I will take all 4 sides off this, because I need to decide, and I'm going to just place it there like that. Okay, but when I come to paint this on, I won't take all 4 sides off. I will just do that. Do exactly the same, and then I will hover over until I'm happy, and then drop it down. And that is the simple task. I'll just bring you down a bit. There we go. So that's just the simple card, matting and layering, and I hope you've enjoyed this. If you have any questions, then please ask. If some of you who have watched it are experts in card making, and you think I've missed anything that new crafters should know about, then please do let me know. And I've enjoyed doing this video, because sometimes it's really nice to go really right back to basics. There are so many products out there for crafters now. I mean, compared to when I started 20 years ago, over 20 years ago now, the technology has come on in leaps and bounds. From when I started crafting, there's electronic machines now, there's so many different dyes out there, stamping is my love of stamping, and I will go, the next one I'm going to do is I'm going to go into do one on stamping and looking after your stamps and that. So I hope you come next time, and I will decorate this card up and I'll take you round it. And thank you so much for watching. I hope you've enjoyed, and until next time, happy crafting. Bye bye.